everybody, and welcome to episode 26 of the Big Apple Battle, a New York baseball podcast. And Ed, we are throwing a curveball, baseball reference, of course, into the mix with a Saturday free-for-all episode where we are going to talk all things, anything baseball related, ABS system, obviously Mets and Yankees prospects, and just guys who are showing out in spring early, who to us are standout candidates who might be sneaking into and fighting for a potential starting spot or spot on the roster in general. But yeah, I don't know. This feels weird. It's not nighttime. The sun is shining. I am sweating in my apartment right now. It's not snowing. I think that means baseball is close, right?
Practically summer. Spring training, we're training for sleeveless season. You're already in the gear and
I'm still sweating too.
you're shifting gears, you're ready for it and ready to go, drinking the coffee out of the Mets cup. What more ready could you ask for? So yeah, man, I'm just happy for the what feels like a change of scenery and I guess not scenery, but season.
Mm.
And hey, the snow's melting. Spring training's going full swing. We got the World Baseball Classic around the corner. Baseball's here, baby. It's our season. It's our time. Let's
We're,
go.
we're right there. I actually saw a photo earlier of the Dominican team heading out to get ready to gear up for the WBC. And obviously, all of
Scary
them
one.
swagged, a scary team, but swagged out as ever. They got that drip, they got that style. They're ready to ball out.
They do.
Hope,
Those
hope
hats are probably the best of all the World
so
Baseball
sick.
Classic hats. Those are sick.
I mean, hopefully, no injuries. That's ideally what you want. I mean, sorry, what you don't want heading into the situation
No,
is
hopefully you don't want injury. Yeah, no, you got it right. I think the first time. I
okay.
just don't have any Dominicans on the team. I don't think so. Hey, I'm okay. Whatever happens to your Dominican players,
How many?
things happen.
Actually, I should check
Oh no,
that.
we have Austin Wells. Austin Wells is the catcher for
I
Team USA.
forgot. Yes, I forgot about that. I would love to fact check that.
I
Um,
mean,
wait, you know what's
he's doing it.
a fun fact about that while we're chatting, and I'll go to the website while we're talking, and I'll multitask here, Ed, is I know, we're gonna dive into kind of today, what we're seeing in camp early, who's impressing us. But what I want to start out with is our thoughts on the ABS system, because what I saw the other day, I'm not sure if you caught this, but it was a Giants Cubs spring training game early in the game, but obviously everyone's testing it out, getting their feet wet, trying to understand when and how to challenge. I get it, like trial and error right now. It doesn't games points don't matter, and games don't count. I'm gonna be doing a Who's Line reference every week.
I just watched clips from that the other day, by the way, and I wanted to bring it into the fold again because God, that show is so incredibly funny. They had Richard Simmons
So
on
good, dude.
as a jet ski. Everything about that show was so good.
So good.
Anyway,
Wayne Brady
yeah.
killed it. I mean, they're all good. Who's the guy
Ryan
who looks?
Stiles,
Yeah,
Colin
Ryan Stiles.
Mockery, those were my two guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
man.
Who's the tall one? Is that Colin? I always mix them
That's
up.
Ryan
That's Ryan.
Stiles. Yeah,
He's the
yeah.
best. He reminds me of Larry Bird.
The absolute best. I know. So gawky and weird, but like the funniest dude out there. Him and Colin were like the best. Anyway, yeah.
Wait, sorry. I'm also
Don't
sidetracked.
apologize. All the references. Let's go.
No, no, but side note on that real quick. For whatever reason, Larry Bird and him both look like actual birds. It's kind of
They
interesting.
they're from the Big Bird family tree.
Makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Who knew?
Yeah, sorry. Before we get sidetracked, but I'm
Them
going
and
to make
Mark
that,
Fidrich.
that
Yeah.
reference often once we have a better social media presence and maybe someone managing that. We'll get some Who's Line clips thrown into these vids.
There
But
you go. The children who will be doing the social media will have no idea what they're cutting. But
no,
hey,
but we're gonna
that's
say
fine.
Gen Z. Go
We'll
look,
bring them some culture.
throw the bird on there. All right. So, hey.
Did you say
But
bird? Did you say bird?
bird is the word.
Bird?
Oh, there's the bird.
Bird.
What a guy. What a
Let's
bird.
go.
Um, but yeah, I wanted to bring this up because it's obviously going to be front and center this season. There's a lot of ways to dissect this and slice and dice it, but the Giants Cubs game I wanted to mention first because Willie Adames, basically already I think might have won Challenge of the Year in spring. It's kind of like that kicker who kind of set the record for field goal distance on the Jaguars, if I'm not mistaken, in
Right. Right.
preseason
Yep.
football, right? Similar
Yep. Yep.
not similar at all, but kind of a similar situation. I'm trying to draw a line to it where it's spring, it doesn't matter, but maybe it will be challenge of the year where the sense of it was under, I think, zero point 0.1 inches technically from the zone. And I know you were trying to shed some light on it for me earlier because like, I don't know how they're calculating that, right? I assumed it was just a generalized strike zone like we see on
Mm.
ESPN when we're watching the game. See now every SNY, yes, everyone has it for the most part, I think.
Right.
I kind of hate that it's there, to be honest with you.
It's
But
the worst. That's what ruined everything. But we'll get back to that.
yes, yes. But on that note, do you know if there's like certain measurements or things that go into it or adjust it? Because it is obviously strike zone's always been adjusted by height, right? By the size of the player.
Yep.
And that I'm not noticing. And that's interesting to me. So I was curious.
Well, it's interesting. So what I had always known, right? The strike zone changes It just does. It's always been, it's not one uniform zone. It's nothing like that. It's always adjusted based on the player, right? And it's historically been just below the letters to just below the knees. Some people said shoulders to knees when you're young, right? And it's like as you get older, it started to shrink somehow, right? As a kid,
Always.
it was like literally shoulders to knees, right? You were swinging at everything from there to there, or letters, right? To knees. And it was always that, right? Never anything defined beyond that, which allows for each player to have their own strike zone, right? It makes sense. Aaron Judge's strike zone is not how Jose Altuve's strike zone. It makes sense
I hope
without
so. Yeah.
technology and an algorithm, right? So that said, what's gone on now and what you're discussing and what also happened with Pitching Ninja and the Mets and Astros, it appears. I don't know if that was an old clip. It was the same thing. It was less than zero point 0.1, inches, right, from the
Yeah.
zone, which is splitting hairs at that point. Like, at what point are we looking to be too perfect, right? Another issue we'll get into. But again, this is based on, and the new ABS system, all BS is what I like to call it. Now, automatic balls and strikes system.
All BS. I like that.
It calculates a personalized 2D strike zone, right? So for each batter based on their height, set at 53.5% for the top and 27% for the bottom. So again, this is essentially going from the fixed idea of, okay, I'm calling from here to here to no matter what. And this is what the other issue is. Because it's a percentage, it's calculated based on each player. They're measured, they plug in the number for each player when you go in the technology. So prior to every at bat, they're going to have to plug in, okay, Jose Altuve's numbers are this, and here's his percentage from top to bottom. And this is what that strike zone looks like now in the calculus, right? So
Hmm.
it's like plugging into a program on the computer just to see a strike zone. Now, that's what's factored in. And when they challenge it, that's what they're going to challenge based on. Now, what I saw and was watching Pitching Ninja break down is that players who crouch, right? Bernie Williams is a big example for me. He always would crouch and he would almost like crouch down to avoid the pitch if it was a little high. You would watch him
Yeah.
kind of
Bro,
like sneak,
think about like Jeff Bagwell.
right? Perfect example. Beautiful
Legend, by
example,
the way. But
right?
yeah, yeah.
A legend, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But that's not calculated. So the percentage is not based on their crouch, is based on their total height. So
There's a
their
strike up
stance,
here.
right? So their stance doesn't even matter now. How does that make any sense? Any sense?
Has the stance, and I guess now I'm trying to think back. Like, I know everyone has their own stance, obviously, and their own unique way of approaching your at bat, obviously, as we know. But I'm trying to think, like, in baseball, though, if we are to crouch or stand straight up without even bending your knees, though, isn't the strike zone always been consistent? Like, even if you're crouching, like literally, these remember some of those videos where you see kids like who are like literally on the floor because they think it's not going to be called a strike. I've seen even in the
Right.
Little League World Series, but technically the zone is the zone. So even with the Jeff Bagwell, I think strikes would still be called above the letters, technically to him above the letters, but it's just in the strike zone.
And I guess you're right to some extent, but it's in that respect, you're still having to adjust based on where he is. Like the umpire's eye isn't going to calibrate for, oh, the strike zone's up here now. You're still
True.
going
It's
to
the
be
human aspect to it that we're
right.
losing because of
It,
that. Yeah.
it's essentially batter framing, for
Mm,
lack of a better term, right? You know how catchers are framing, like, and they're doing that.
I like
They're
that.
moving it in, and like you're adjusting the umpire's eye level or their right perception of where the ball's coming. So again, it just takes away another element of where the cat and mouse game that is pitcher versus hitter. And again, it's a disadvantage for both sides, I think, right? Because again, you're splitting hairs so finely that at some point you're just going
Mm.
to keep delaying the game, like especially if you have effective challenges, which we'll also get into. And
What's
again,
the,
this
sorry,
go
not to
ahead.
cut you off, but do you know the rule on how many? Isn't it if you miss, you lose it or something, right?
Yeah, and I think it's two, kind of like the replay challenges. So again, not a bad concept, right? If you're going to limit it,
I think
but
one would be so much better where it's like make or break, do or die. Pick your spot.
yeah, and save it for like the end of the game, so you're not like again abusing it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And this was something I talked with about actually last year. I went to Indianapolis, right, to visit a friend who works for the Pirates AAA club. He works for the Pirates, but he's deployed in the AAA team. Does a lot of this analytics stuff and kind of breaks down what's going on analytically to players, right? He's kind of that bridge between front office nerds, for lack of a better term, and players because he's a former player himself and understands the analytics. So you'll see him going into the dugout in full uniform. It's like he's not a coach; he's just a guy who's breaking down these numbers. And again, not to take away from the job, but he's like, oh yeah, I really like this ABS system. And again, from the development side, I guess I get it because it helps you get your batters to understand the strike zone better, right?
Yeah.
That's in a good unintended impact, maybe, or maybe
But
it's
they should
intended.
already. They're professional baseball players, been playing their whole lives.
Sure, but you know how many
But
free swingers there are, right?
yeah, Javi Baez comes to mind, a few others.
Right? Even Willie Adames, right? So like for him to
True,
even like be in that situation. So
true.
but the way he talked about it was like, you've got guys on this team who we tell straight up, don't challenge. You're not allowed because the coaching staff knows full well you're not supposed to be doing that. Like you're a guy who's going to just every time because your ego is getting in the way.
Wait, and
So
sorry,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
sorry, I'll let you finish. I want to add to that after,
yeah, yeah.
please.
No, 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 go. No,
I was gonna say because I wanted to add to that, talking about
yeah.
ego, right? And talking about who shouldn't be able to challenge. I know right now it's mostly coming from the catcher, probably,
Hmm.
either their decision depending on the veteran presence of that catcher, and obviously the
Right,
trust the manager has in that catcher, or it's coming from the bench. But honestly, the
right.
bench you can't really see it either. So I don't know where that it's got to be the catcher, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, you made that point too, because you're saying the pitcher or the bench probably shouldn't be making that
That's the
call.
other piece I wanted to add is the pitcher because there's a lot of talk behind it because pitchers are filled with ego. I know that. I was one of them. I've gotten away from that. But I will say it's kind of like I see it best. It's my pitch, it's my ball, that's where I put it, kind of thing. Very much,
Hmm.
especially if you're one of the best pitchers in the game and you're someone who hits your spots.
Right.
I was far from that. But these professional pitchers, obviously, a DeGrom, a Garrett Cole, a Crotchet, all these guys, they're hitting their spots time and time again, right? And I still feel, and I guess a lot of people feel, and I kind of agree with this, that they're maybe too far away to make that call, especially when the catcher's the one framing said pitch.
Right.
The pitcher might be going off of what the catcher's framing, not where the ball actually ends up.
Ultimately, yeah. And I think that that probably will be a directive from a lot of guys, right? And you know what? If you're a big time name, if you're a Verlander, you're a Cole, you're a, get younger, a Tarek Skubal, a Freddie Peralta, I don't know, anybody that might get the benefit of the doubt these days.
That's the thing too, yeah.
It's a good challenge for their ego too, though. Go ahead, challenge it. And when you're wrong, you're going to see how foolish you look, and maybe you're going to say, not the best thing for my team.
First inning, first at bat too. I guarantee there's gonna be a guy doing it in the first innings. You're like, that's a guarantee. That's right. And then guess what? It's 2 inches off the plate.
Right, right. And I listen, and I love the fact that they're like, oh, you know what? Everybody give it a shot this time of year. You got to learn it. You got to give it a shot. Like everybody go for it. Why not? I don't think a lot of teams are saying don't do it right now, right? You're
Yeah,
seeing challenges kind of willy-nilly left and right. You got to figure out how to manage it. But to that extent, I also feel like you're now taking away from the training of the players because you're delaying other things. And it's just like it's another thing to get in the way of like good
100%.
baseball. And I don't know. I can't help but feel like going back to that one point, and I'll wrap this up, from my perspective, is when you mentioned that, the box that Fox put up there, right? Or
Yeah,
however many broadcasts ESPN put up that digital box. That digital box was never correct anyway, right? It was always off frame. It was from one angle or another, center field camera, left justified, right justified, whatever. It was never perfectly centered. It was never the exact height. And again, it was just a box. And it was to give viewers an idea of like, hey, this is kind of what the strike zone is. And I think it was intended for good. But now it's reared its ugly head and said, oh, now we're not perfect enough. Now you got to be perfect. Everything's
yes.
got to be perfect and fair.
You sound like a Sesame Street character,
And
but
I feel like I'm Grover right now. It's what
yes.
it's doing to me because it's truly like cutting off your nose to spite your face. Like you are ruining what makes the sport interesting, inherently fun.
Yes.
Is right?
The human error, right? And that's what we always talk about. We
And
dating,
deception.
yes, dating back to before we even started the podcast, we've always talked about that. And that's what we love about baseball. No time limit, human error, and what mattered was the game wasn't being decided by a computer as much as other sports, especially a referee. Obviously, we know football with flags and how games are stopped and flopping goes on in football. I mean, basketball and soccer. And like baseball was the one sport that was pure. It was natural. It was, hey, it's a thin bat versus a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Can you hit it? Can you not? And there's no time limit that tells you you have to rush and hurry up to do it. But if you
Hmm.
could do it, your team will win. And I think that is the issue here. And that's, to me, is what's been taken away from the sport now. Every season, there's something added where it's making the pitchers go faster, making the games go faster. And now added to it is, hey, there's no human error from the umpires. Now different umpires who have different kinds of zones, bigger zones, smaller zones, pitcher zones, not friendly to the batter, whatever it may be. Sure, it plays a role. Still, obviously, framing matter. All of it still matters, but not as much because there's an ABS system that's like, all right, if I'm wrong, they're just gonna challenge anyway. They're gonna just call me out regardless. Or if the catcher's like, I didn't frame that well, but hey, I'm just gonna challenge it because I know it was a strike, or I know it was a ball and they called it a strike.
Right. And you're still
And
trusting
yeah,
programming of some kind as like with error and variance and all those things. You're still trusting something else, some other human who's plugging in data to a computer that a human created. You're
yes,
still subject to human error. It's just
always.
the way you want to perceive it, and it ruins rhythm and cadence and big moments and everything we talked about. Like
Big
what
moments is gonna, yeah, a World Series,
Game 7 of the World Series. Oh,
bases loaded, 3-2 count, yeah.
like this, that's it.
And then it's a fucking walk.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, you won the World Series. Like, what do you mean we won the World Series?
Blah. Like, it's just,
If the Mets won it that way, yeah, I'd be at the parade, sure. But I
of
wouldn't be,
course.
of course, I wouldn't be as, I mean, you know what got you there. Obviously, all that play is like the
Yeah.
journey, but it still ruins, to your point, that moment in real time when tension is high, when everyone's feeling the butterflies, everyone is anxious, and that's what sports are about, right? That's what gets us going. We're fired up, we're into it, and then it's paused, it's stopped, it's dragged along, and then it's hence that's why flags in football. Like, sure, it's
Right.
suspenseful because you're waiting for the call. And I will say it is kind of cool seeing like the ball come in and where it's going to go. A little suspense there, but it's not the point. That's not what baseball is. And the biggest piece I had to say about this, I know we're chatting offline about it, is Willie Adames' call. Under point 1 inch off the plate, called the ball. Like that like that's a strike too. Like that goes either way, dude. Like
And
that
we're,
like no,
and
I wouldn't criticize an umpire if they called that. Well, I guess technically they did have the wrong call. You're not gonna be like, wow, that umpire sucks at his job. He's not a robot.
But now we're delegitimizing that guy who's done all of this work. It's like delegitimizing a judge, right? Down the
Yes.
line. Like, say, a Supreme Court justice, which, I mean, we could talk about that all day right now. But, like,
Mhm.
right? Once upon a time, when sanity ruled supreme, you would look at things and say, a judge, if you're going to question them because they got technology involved and they were maybe wrong because more evidence was shown, it doesn't mean the judge is bad at their job. It means the judge worked with what they had, and then when more evidence was provided, we made corrections. It's sort of like
Yes.
going back to the perfect game for Andres Galarraga that wasn't a perfect game. You can go back retroactively and call it a perfect game, Major League Baseball.
Not the
You're just
same.
deciding not to. You're just going to say that, let's call it, we just need technology to verify it. But like, what was verified.
And you could verify it right now regardless. And but to that
Anytime.
and to that point, no, he fully deserves that perfect game, obviously.
Right, right.
But to that point, I guess now I'm going devil's advocate, which is crazy. But if you had obviously what we have now in the moment, it would have been a perfect game in real time.
But that replay, I'm actually, and I know this is how it's going back. I'm almost arguing against myself
Yeah,
because
same.
I think with any introduction of something, you're like, oh, that's not the worst thing in the world. I still think the Manfred man in extra innings is kind of stupid. It changes baseball a little too
Yeah.
much, right?
Again, maybe 13th inning, like we said, late 15th, whatever. If it goes too deep, sure.
Sure. But like with that logic, and again, maybe ABS would be better only in a late inning situation,
Seventh and
not all
on.
game,
Yeah.
right? It's something. I don't know, but it's too much just here you go. Let's just throw technology as a band-aid solution when in reality you're not addressing the root cause of the problem half the time, right?
Yeah, or
It's
the
just
opposite. Now I'm thinking out loud. Maybe it's 1 through 5, 1 through 6 innings, and then you don't have that bullshit at the end of a game when it matters. And sure, people might be. I mean, that could be a lot of arguments going on where it's like, why the fuck can I challenge that call? That clearly it was a ball when you called a strike three in the bottom of the ninth and we lost the game, and I could only
right.
call in the 5th inning, so I get it.
And in the fifth inning, it led to a grand slam, and then you know what I mean.
Like
And
it all
then they're like,
plays
"Oh,
like,
why didn't we do it?"
and
Yeah.
we know baseball. You could win the game in the 5th inning with a grand slam. Like not, you know what I
Well,
mean? Not win the game, but you win the
but
game.
that's why you need to have it, I guess, throughout the whole game. I guess. But
Yeah,
I don't want to. I don't want to be the guy that's like, old man, get off my lawn. This doesn't work.
I don't think
But
we are.
right, and then I've seen it in the minor league situation. I don't think we are either. But I don't think the old men get off my lawn think they are either. When you're in the minor league situation, watching it, it does go relatively seamlessly. You know, it's mostly that I don't understand why, as humans, and this is a human nature issue, why we give up our power to technology, kind of the way we are going all the way in on AI and all the way in on any technology that doesn't necessarily address the problems. So
Yes.
many things don't work now because technology runs all of it. They don't work because how many people know how to use the technology properly? How many are trained on it? How many built it? Whatever it might be, it's just going to create further problems and alienate fans, I think, in a way that you don't
I,
want.
I agree. I know we're completely on the same page on this, but then part of me, I just want to be, try to look at it from all angles and all perspectives because we know that's what the world needs nowadays because there's very closed-minded, one-dimensional people in this world today. So I will say,
That is true.
sitting at a baseball game midsummer, I'm just starting to think out loud. You see the ABS system come on the screen, 3 beers in, you know it was a ball. They called it a strike. And Lindor, bases loaded, huge moment. It comes on screen. It shows that it was a ball. Ball four, he walks, a run gets walked in, everything goes behind, and then but with Shed, whoever's batting second, whatever the order ends up being, it's a grand slam. Crowd goes nuts. So like, there's part of me that's kind of like, yes, in the moment at the game, sure, I'm going to cheer for it because I know it was wrong. Oh, but that's because maybe it was 3 inches off the plate and it was actually a bullshit call. That's the problem.
Those you're
There
going to
should
be
be
feeling good about
maybe there's
for
limits.
sure.
Maybe there should be limits established. There we go.
Right. If it's not, if it's within an inch, sorry, we can't, like, it's not a verifiable.
Maybe
But
that's
like, you
it,
know what I mean?
Ed.
I don't know. But like, how do you do that? How do you do that? Say, oh yeah, sorry, you can't challenge
Because it
that.
accounts for the umpires. Maybe they're kind of for player stats and height. Account for the ump style.
Yeah, that's true too.
Damn. So
See
that
what I
might,
mean? But like, this is
yeah.
where they just want a one size fits all solution. And I don't think this is one of those things. I don't think baseball is inherently, it just doesn't lend itself to a one size fits all solution. It's literally the sport that is not one size fits all.
I
There's
know.
no one ballpark that is the same size or dimension. There's no one player, like you
Yeah.
don't have
Basketball
seven
court, football
footers
field.
consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not like, oh, everybody's 280 on the offensive line. Like there's nothing consistent about anything positionally,
David Eckstein versus Aaron
dimensionally.
Judge, right? Like,
Right. It, it just,
well, and the other part of it, sorry, just to add the last piece of the
yeah.
puzzle here that I want to talk to is it's gonna be another stat that we're gonna be keeping, like how we have challenge stats and how well a team challenges just calls in general.
Yeah.
Um,
The
now it,
Yankees.
yeah, yeah, they do well, but now it's gonna be another stat of challenging balls and strikes versus general, challenge calls, obviously.
Which is another layer of like management and more stuff. And when Boone makes a bad bullpen decision later because he had to think too much about the ABS system, you know what I mean?
It's
It's too much. It's like
it
teachers
is
with all these numbers, and we got to meet numbers. We got to meet numbers. Just stop. And it's just a money grab. It's like how much more technology can we involve in the ballpark and get people's eyes on this thing, and we'll provide you these solutions through this technology, and you'll pay us, and we'll market you, and this will be great. AWS is all over baseball. Oh, Amazon Web Services, we should need that for baseball. What do we care?
yeah, dude. I don't. I mean, obviously, no matter what, we're gonna love baseball through and through. But it's funny. We were talking about this years ago. And we're like, oh, this is never gonna happen. It's gonna take forever. And now we're sitting here in 2026, and it's happening in front of our eyes. And like, what worries me is not even this. Like, it's still baseball at the end of the day. And sure, it's not gonna be. It's definitely gonna ruin some big moments. I already foresee that happening, which sucks. But what else? What's next?
Right. When's the limit? Like
Yeah.
I feel like you already were in a good spot. You already did things that worked well enough.
And we adjusted fine to that pitcher's clock. Like, whatever. It speeds the game up at 30 minutes. Sure.
And the pitch clock for the most part I do get, right? And I watched a lot of that 10 years ago at the minor league level. I knew that was going to be probably not the worst thing in the world.
Some
I
guys
get it.
take way too long to deliver that ball. We know that. We know
And,
that.
and we can go back to history to say this is obvious, right? We know that historically it's not how the game was played. It was throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball.
Yeah, who used to rock the baby? Who was that? It was the
Uh,
Astros player.
Josh Naylor, you're saying?
Oh well, he does that when he writes. Yeah, that was yeah, that's iconic. But there was a pitcher. I don't know. I guess it's besides the point. But he used to have the longest.
Mm.
Here, you could keep chatting. I gotta find
I
it.
gotta think about that. Well, there was also like the human rain delay they called Mike Hargrove, but that was, batter getting out of the box, messing with his gloves, kind of like the Nomar Garcia Parra type stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh well,
Um,
yeah. That stuff too, dude.
right. So
Nomar's
the
an
batters,
asshole, by the way. He didn't sign me my brother's autograph. You're like 10 years old, and he's just doing his stupid hand thing.
oh, that sucks. Well, my mom harassed his wife Mia Hamm at a Red Sox Yankees game once, so that was fun. It makes you feel a little
Good.
better.
It does. I'm glad. I can't find this guy, but it was someone
And
on the Astros. It's a
she was
hard
just
thing.
she was just jeering. She wasn't really harassing, but
But either
Um,
either way,
yeah,
Ed, like this conversation, we're gonna have this throughout the entirety of the season. I think every week we're gonna be touching on it, especially with when we're in season. Obviously,
yeah.
Mets and Yankees are gonna be using it. Teams against us are gonna be using it.
It'll take a
Uh,
month and a half of baseball news cycle, and then people will stop talking about it.
and I want to say our team's gonna save it or like maybe not use it and pick their spots because honestly, almost every inning in baseball, we question calls. It's natural. It's the human error. So like, what
Right.
I'm gonna be curious to see when and how it's strategically used. I think that's gonna be the biggest part. And like, yeah, we're gonna talk plenty more about this, but
Well, and that's the layer,
yeah,
like just going back, I don't know if we went over this, but for fans who don't know, you do get two challenges similar to like any replay call. So if you lose one, you lose the challenge. You get two total. And so you do have to use them sparingly and like be decisive and say, okay, don't be dumb about it, right? And this is where this training is coming in for spring training. Everybody's learning that. And going back to your point and to bring back the Yankees and all of it, we're going to have people who know how to call these replays, right? Like the
yeah,
Yankees have always been historically pretty good at challenges in any replay situation. I think better than the average, which has helped them along the way. There are teams who do a really bad job of it, but what we saw just a couple games ago were the Yankees challenging 6 of 7 calls successfully. So only one of the calls was overturned. They lost that challenge, but then they won 6 consecutive after that, which is kind of crazy to think about.
that is absolutely
Um,
nuts.
right? And I don't know if it was if this was in the same game, but like Caballero called one like twice in the same at bat and just like completely confidently took his base. It was nice to see. And again, the Yankees clearly are ahead of the curve or feel to be ahead of the curve on that front. Let's see if it continues, but you like your odds there. And speaking of great players
Wait,
who
Ed,
might
sorry,
not have
continue. I will be right back. I just have to check on something. I'm here again. Similar
absolutely.
situation with the cat. One second. Keep it
Yeah,
going.
and really the simple point I was going to make at the very end here was that Aaron Judge is one of the culprits of calling a bad one. So he, I believe, was facing Cookie Carrasco, who was Braves, former Met and Yankee. Braves Yankees curveball from Cookie inside. It looked a little bit dipped down, and Judge, confidently tapped his helmet. So unfortunately for big boy Aaron, he was wrong in his challenge. So just goes to show the best players are not always going to be the best challengers of things. There we go back to ego. There we go back to the top line starters, whoever it might be. Sometimes you got to make those challenges, be told you're wrong, and then you'll be a little more calibrated and figure out when it's right time to challenge. So
I will
we'll see how
say
it goes.
they're giving us more fodder and more to talk about, at least on the podcast, but not in
Oh
the
yeah.
way I was hoping, I guess. And we'll still have plenty more to come on this topic, obviously, as we go. Yeah, I do want to dive into some just like early.
Yeah.
Still, I know it's still early. We're what? Mets have played. I'm looking here, 6 games
It's early but it's weird because it feels late
late.
early with the way WBC is jumping in and we're starting
Yeah,
opening day on the 26th.
I
So
love it. Almost, well, we're
less than a
less than a
month.
month out, dude. This is amazing. And the one part I did want to say before we even dive into, we'll keep it brief today because again, it's still early. Just kind of want to talk through who's impressed us. Obviously, thoughts on maybe players that are new to the team that have shown out. Like Freddie Peralta for us had his first spring start as a Met, and he was flawless, which was really nice to see. Unfortunately, I was stacked with meetings. And I didn't have a chance to really watch him, and I saw the highlights, and he looked nasty. But
You better.
I know before I even dive into that, and we dive into Mets Yankees, I saw Bob. What is it, Nightingale? Put out
Nightingale,
something
yeah.
stupid about how the
Oh.
Dodgers are already on their way. They're 6-0 in spring. They haven't even played their guys. And then when he put that, the Giants were up by like 10 runs or something after the fact. But like, who
Do you,
cares?
do you know who's also 6-0 right now?
No, White Sox?
The Colorado Rockies. So
Exactly.
go shove it. It's essentially what
And they'll
that
start the
means.
season 1-15. Maybe not, because what's his name is now 400 pounds of muscle. Who's the Zach
Who?
Veen?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. That's
Yeah,
insane.
that's actually crazy. He was like a skinny, frail guy. Looks like
People like
Hercules.
I just don't know how you spend that much time in the gym. Like I like the gym and all, but I can't.
I would never even want to be that big. I'm trying to lean out over here, Ed. I'm trying to lean out.
Well, that's what happens when you get older, man. You can't carry that weight around all that time.
No, I
You
can't
got to
even
stay nice
imagine.
and lean.
It's fun though, probably. You just got to eat whatever the hell you want. But
Hey, that's true too. Yeah, a ton of protein. But that,
um
it's harder to eat
yeah.
when you're working out too, though. Have you ever found that out? Like to me, it feels harder to eat as much somehow. I feel like the lazier I am, the more I can eat.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And I guess
You know,
yeah. Or
metabolism.
you eat the stuff you enjoy more. Like when I'm working out, I'm like, oh, I gotta eat carrots or I gotta eat healthy. Like my friend brought over
Sustenance.
brownies last night and we had a nice healthy dinner
Mm.
and left the brownies here. We had one. I was been doing great. So I'm like, oh, brownie. It's within my range of, I track calories and all that fun stuff
You got your
nowadays.
Weight
And
Watchers points. That's about like 8 Weight Watchers points
oh well,
right
I don't
there.
do that. I just track naturally, but um I had them sitting
Advanced
around.
stats right here. This is called
This is advanced stats.
sabermetrics.
They're sitting around on the counter, and this is advanced stats for sure. I could have went in today at lunch and had two. I did. I took a spoon, scooped a little, like 1/8, threw them out.
Wow.
Look at that,
Whoa. What?
right? Isn't that great? Oh,
That's
first of all, I feel wasteful, and she
that's
bought them,
rude.
so I kind
Yeah,
of feel
that's
bad.
incredibly rude. That's
I cooked
crazy.
dinner. It's
Take
even.
take the gun, leave the brownies. That's what I say.
Yeah, it's kind of an asshole move, but I didn't do it intentionally. It was more so because I don't want to eat 5 brownies that are sitting around, even
I
though,
guess I
and they weren't homemade. Homemade's different.
I can respect that. I can
You don't throw out
respect
homemade anything.
that.
Um, Do you mind if I
I'm with you.
start on the Mets
No,
front?
jump
Maybe
in. Yeah,
maybe
I'm
we
good.
maybe we do Mets hitters, Yankees hitters, and then we go to pitching. We do it that
Yeah.
route.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just want to highlight a few names because of the positions that we're actually looking to fill. Because I know we chatted last week how there's really not many positions that are open or really an opportunity for someone to come in, swoop in, and take that spot. I know for the Mets,
Mhm.
it's really just right field, which is the fight. If Carson Benz, our top prospect, makes the team, makes the roster so far, he's looking great. I'll get into the numbers in a second, but outside of that, in terms of positions that are open, bench depth, I guess Tyron Taylor might be fighting for his life. I don't think he is. I think he's still kind of a shoe-in unless someone really all of a sudden just like shows out, right?
Mhm.
Um, But like I thought about it before we jumped on other positions. It's interesting because Alvarez and Torrens are kind of your guys. But Austin Barnes, man, he used to be the star, as
Oh
baseball fans
wow.
know. He used to be the starter for the Dodgers, having a great spring right now. Again, only six at bats, but he's hitting 500, two doubles, two RBIs, a walk. 1.4 OPS. Obviously, six at bats is not nothing, but that's the point of today.
Yeah,
Short
yeah.
sample size, 6 games in, but like it's interesting to see that kind of thing where it's not really going a position battle going in, and then you think like not the start, obviously, like that's Alfred's spot until proven otherwise. But Terens, right? Bench guys you're not paying a ton of money for that. I mean, Terens is great. He's a great leader. He's I think one of the better defensive catchers in the game that he's underrated for. So like he'll get that
You're
spot. But I
welcome.
guess I'm trying to make the argument and play devil's advocate where that's the beauty of spring, right?
Totally.
So,
Yeah.
so,
No,
so yeah.
you want to see that.
So just to jump into some numbers quickly and rattle some things off on who has been a standout for me, obviously in right field, is really what's going on right now. It's kind of crazy. Like some of our stars haven't really touched the field much. I know that kind of happens as you ramp up more towards the end. Obviously, guys going out to the World Baseball Classic, so everyone's kind of in and out, which gives the younger guys more of a chance to play, which is cool. But so I'm not really going to harp on our starters. Guy like Luis Robert has barely played. Like Bo Bichette's only had seven at bats. Simeon eight. You know, that's still a decent sample size, obviously in 6 games. But there's guys who've got like one or two at bats who, again, will start to ramp it up towards the back end here. But guys that I want to deem noteworthy to maybe fight for not only the starting right field spot, but potentially Tyron Taylor's bench spot in the outfield, right? It's
Hmm.
Christian Pache, ex Brave, ex Oakland Athletic, RIP to Oakland Athletics.
R.I.P.
He's 7 for 10 in spring. Guy's in 700. You know, I know it's 10 at bats, small sample size. I saw him at the plate, a few of his at bats. He just looks kind of dialed and locked in, having good at bats, great eye at the plate, good just overall plate appearances. And also, he's 28, I think, now. It's kind of interesting because I feel like that is when people are hitting their prime. It used to be like, oh, when they're 24, 25, like that's their prime. It's really 28, 29. Even when you hit 30, like we're starting to see guys maybe taking a little bit longer to turn into something, but because they maybe sometimes need that experience in the big leagues to fail, right? Improve.
Totally.
Like that's how we get better in life, right? We fail, we try again, we improve, we course correct. And I feel like that's happening a lot more to the MLB. It's kind of interesting to see. So there's three guys I had in mind that could be fighting for that, four guys fighting for that starting spot. So that's the fun part about camp. Pache, I feel like
Hmm.
I'm pronouncing that wrong.
No, Pache, Pache. I think no, I think you're right.
Pache, Pache,
Yep.
Pache.
Pache, you're right.
All right, we'll take it.
And
Carson
he's only
Bench,
27. It's his 27 year, so even
27.
young.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
my numbers wrong. It was late at night. I was looking at his birth date. Um, Car
November, that's why.
Yeah, Carson Bench. I mean, I want him to start. Obviously, you get excited when you have that rookie presence, your top prospect up there in there early. 4 for 10 so far in spring. I saw him run the bases, and that dude, he's underratedly fast. He plays a great outfield. He already made a diving catch in right field. Looks like he's very comfortable there. That's why
Hmm.
Soto was going to move to left. 855 OPS, 4 for 10, not much else to really write home about. No doubles, no triples, no home runs. So just a bunch of four singles here. But he went the opposite way a few times, and that is what you want to see out of a young prospect, obviously, kind of spraying the ball all field, especially a guy like that, right?
Absolutely.
Kind of like a young Jeff McNeil without being Jeff McNeil. I can't believe I'm referencing Jeff McNeil.
Couldn't help yourself. You miss him already.
I know, I know. And then the other guy that's honestly the most interesting to me fighting for that spot, MJ Melendez, ex-Royal,
Hmm.
also a free swinger, as we know. Power bat, still young. If you could fact check me, Ed, on his age, I could be wrong. I just don't, my computer is shit and I don't want us to freeze. I have my
Yes.
numbers in front of me,
Go
but
ahead. Give me an age. What do you think?
all right, yeah. He was the Royals for only a few years. I'm guessing he's only 27 years old.
He is. He's only 10 days younger than Christian Pache. So there you
Look
go.
at that. On the money. That's what I'm saying. This guy might be hitting his stride. Like, who knows? You are a free swinger in Kansas City. Some ups and downs. I remember seeing him have some big moments, some good moments, and then flopping off. And again, still hitting your stride, hitting your prime. He's 4 for 11 in spring, two home runs, five RBIs already with a 1.36 OPS. And this is the biggest piece for me, two strikeouts only in 11 at bats.
Yeah.
Um, I
That
don't
is
know,
his big
man.
bugaboo.
He plays a pretty good field too. He's
Hmm.
not he's not that slow. I think he's pretty
Yep.
versatile, could play both corners of the outfield.
Yep. Could even be a
Like
first base option, I would imagine, at some point, right?
he's big, right? He's big enough where maybe he is that kind of guy that you could throw in there first base, right? And
Left fielder, catcher kind of profiles as somebody that could fit in between there. Yep.
yeah, so I'm a fan of his, and he's a lefty.
Hmm. Yeah.
I, I don't know. I kind of like the compliment to I guess I'm trying like a Tyrone Taylor being in from the right side, but I guess it wouldn't even be Tyrone, whatever it ends up being. But like the last piece there, obviously fighting for kind of a starting spot is I'm gonna botch. Oh no, I remember because you gave me it. Talkman. Michael Talkman.
Talkman. Big
Talkman.
bomb the other day.
Big bomb. That's all he's done, but he's also only got three at bats. So can't say much there. He'll get more plate appearances. Is he in the WBC? Is that why he hasn't played, or is it just kind of the strategy here? Have some
No,
guys.
I can't imagine that he would be. I think that he's just more of a guy that's like, we know what you're about. We know what you can do. We got to give more run to these
True.
other guys. And maybe when WC departs, he'll get more playing time. My guess
The,
is he'll get like Soto's at bats or like, you know what I mean? Things like that.
the game just started. It's pretty stacked lineup in terms of like what you'd expect. Simeon, Soto, Bichette, Beatty, Alvarez, Vientos, Talkman, Tyrone, and Mauricio. So it's a lot of our bench guys being emptied out with a few of our starters. So so he'll get his at bats. Tobias Myers, by the way, pitching today, 1.1 innings, 2K is still no earned runs in spring. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
loving from the pitchers, and we'll switch. Obviously, I'll get your batting take first, but that's all I really want to talk about was kind of that right field spot and a little shout out to another prospect who might be sneaking into that conversation. AJ Ewing. He's in top 100 prospects in
Hmm.
baseball. I think he's top five. I could be botching this top five or top seven in the Mets prospect rankings.
Okay.
Um, Outfielder, versatile outfielder. He is 3 for 6 on the spring, 3 runs, a double, 4 RBIs, a home run, a walk, stolen base, kind of filling the stat sheet already with a 1.6 OPS. And you want to give me an age? I'll guess one more time. AJ Ewing.
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
I don't even want to say he's 26. I really don't. I'm saying he's 25.
25. That's your final answer?
Final answer. Is he old?
Wow. You're giving him too many years. He's only 21. He'll be 22
Holy
in
shit. Yeah. So
August.
that is a promising prospect right there, in my opinion. I don't know why I thought he was older. He's just kind of breaking the system now, which makes sense. He's still so young.
Well, it makes you feel like he looks a little more mature out there, like he's got,
He
control of
looks
his
good,
faculties. So
man.
that's good.
So that's interesting. Like everyone questioned our outfield depth before we got Robert, right?
Hmm.
Maybe this
Well,
is why. It's the Stearns way of living. And yeah, Pache and Talkman. I don't know what we're actually gonna get from them. I'm talking about our young guys, right? Knowing you have a Ewing, knowing you have a Bench, knowing you have a Ryan Clifford, like Jet Williams left, but maybe you didn't need Jet Williams,
you got
right?
to deal from surplus sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. And you
Exactly.
decide at some point, like you're going to have to get rid of something good to get something good. So if you feel that the other stuff can sort of make up for that, that's great. All I would say is they're still young and you relied on a lot of young guys to come up last year and help you that didn't necessarily work out. So
That is
don't
true.
get overly excited, but
Too
I would be
early.
excited. It's good depth. Yeah.
Too early to get
And
excited. Last shout I'm gonna make, what's the two is real quick. Arguably one of the fastest guys in baseball based on Statcast. Actually, they were talking about Fidel Brujan. I'm sure we know him from his days. Oh my God, was he a Marlin? Am I the worst? Where
I
was
feel like
he?
he was an Oriole too,
I want to
wasn't
say he was
he?
a Mariner for some reason as well.
He's probably all over. He was a Tampa Bay Ray, so there's that.
Interesting. I don't remember him as a Ray.
He was an Oriole as well. Tampa Bay
Uh,
Ray, Miami Marlin,
okay, got one.
Oriole, Brave. So he's
And
kind of
he's
been around
young.
it. He's
He's
only
probably young too.
27.
He's bouncing
Yeah,
around. Yeah,
28. He just turned 28.
that's
So
what I'm
yeah,
saying. Like he's first on the stat sheet in my opinion with Mauricio to kind of sub in if Lindor is out for a bit. Even though there's great news on Lindor. Side note. He's ready to return to baseball activity. Like he got the stitches out. Like he's on his way for opening day.
nice.
But again,
There you go.
that's depth on the bench. I might be fighting for Mauricio's spot there. Not Beatty or Vientos, in my opinion, but 3 for 8 out of the gate, very fast, very versatile, and a good glove. So interesting enough there.
Absolutely.
And last shout out because we have the same last name, and there's not many Schwartzes in baseball. JT Schwartz, also one of the Mets, also a first baseman like myself, and one of the top, not top, but kind of coming out of nowhere as one of the better Mets prospects. I don't want to. I want to say he's top 10, but I might be wrong on that. I'll have to fact check that when you're going. But 1 for 1 with a 3 run home run. So let's get this guy some more at bats. That's all I'm
Hey,
saying.
another sleeveless Schwartz in the world. Can't go wrong with that, right?
Yeah, I don't even know what he looks like. Now I gotta check. But on that note, Ed, of course he doesn't have a picture. MLB.com, it's blank.
That's how you know. That's how you know. He's a real diamond in the rough.
Yeah, I would say so. But either way, Ed, like there's still a lot of good things going on. It's just showing me that there is more depth than I think people gave us credit for, and that's the beauty of spring to find that out sometimes.
It's the best part about this time of year for sure is just to sort of like again get excited about guys, maybe unreasonably so, or again, just getting to scratch the surface on some of the talent. So I
Yeah,
think that's the best thing. You learn about names that you might not have otherwise thought of or hadn't heard of since they got drafted or whatever it might be. So It's fun. It's good to dream, and I think if it's something Boone says too, a guy you can dream on. That's always nice to have more players like that. So
And I guess at that point, like, yeah, let's see where we're at 2, 3 weeks from now, right? With these guys
totally,
that I just mentioned. And but that's the beauty of this and why we like doing this before the season starts. So
yeah,
that's my offensive kind of what I'm watching for in this moment.
good
Because luckily
rundown.
right now we're in a place where we got some depth and we kind of know everything else. Nice
Totally.
for a change. So after you, my friend, what are you guys seeing?
No, that was well, literally after you, I will go. But yes, it was
Hmm.
that's a good rundown. I'm going to try and keep it as tight. I think right now it's sort of more interesting players, like the guys that you didn't expect to do much, or maybe not necessarily prospects. There are a few that are doing some things, of course, like Spencer Jones. You can't not talk about him, right? 3 home runs already. A few too many strikeouts. I think he's already got 4 strikeouts in his 8 at bats. So 3 home runs, 4 strikeouts, and I think maybe a single sprinkled in there. Not a ton else going on that front. Oh no, sorry, his only hits are home runs. But 5 RBIs. Again, you feel good about the pop, but is he just a modern day Joey Gallo? We'll see. He's going to need more seasoning. He's not breaking camp with the team.
Does he have a good glove?
I don't think it's anything spectacular. Like he's not Judge in the outfield, right? Who has, I think, an underratedly good glove. But I think he's solid. I think they're trying to figure out where he's going to profile ultimately. If he's going to be a long-term
He
outfielder,
feels like
is
a
he a first
DH, but
baseman? Is he a DH? Right. Which is where the Stanton, DH thing kind of gets in the way of your versatility and lineup construction.
mm,
Love him, but that's something that was always bound to happen. But again, a Jason Dominguez. He's lighting the world on fire right now. He's hitting 417, a home run, 5 RBIs, right? 5 strikeouts, which again, still the bugaboo you don't want to see, but 2 doubles. So 3 extra base hits in those 5 hits. Again, is a little too much boom or bust, probably. Not walking enough. All things that he still needs to work on and needs probably seasoning at the minor league level again with our depth in the outfield. Most likely with Randall Grichuk just signing with the Yankees, kind of
mm,
a Yankee killer, a
yes.
big lefty killer.
It's a good ad though.
Um, good ad, and depth, right? So if Bellinger is going to play or be spelled one day because we've got too many lefties, right? You bring in a Grichuk, there you go. He can play left field. You're in good shape. So I think right now that's the way the Yankees are going to wind up going. But you like to see the early returns from Dominguez, especially in the power department. Paul Goldschmidt, again, not another guy, a guy that nobody really thought of bringing back. Like, is he over the hill? Is he worthwhile? He's hitting 500 with 2 home runs and 7 RBIs in the early going. Only 2 strikeouts. So, like, extreme discipline. Is he going to maybe
It's
bounce
in
back
his
and be even
DNA, man.
better? Right? He's just that guy. He hits the ball hard. He's a
He's
mule.
an
He's
MVP. I
massive.
mean,
He is. So, a really nice pickup when you think about Rice taking over Ben Rice at first, but knowing that Goldschmidt is that guy, is a veteran presence with the ability. You just love to see those early numbers and the return there. Um, other guys that may be under the radar, Max Schumann, right? A big
shoot.
trade that not a big trade, a minor trade that we made with the former Oakland Athletics, the now Sacramento A's. He's kind of just a pesky all-around infielder, like plays every position on the field, a really solid defender. Right now, they've been deploying him more at third base, I guess. He's leading the team in on-base percentage at the moment with a 667. And that's with 8 at-bats, but he's hitting 500. No home runs, but again, just kind of like a pesky, scrappy guy. Um,
Mm.
and I kind of have a feeling he'll break camp with the team because he's a good backup option, can play all over the field. And if he adds anything in the bat department, then you're happy to have him. He's also, just for, fun note, the guy who ran across the field during the A's last game with the Athletics flag or the Oakland
Well, yeah, I
flag.
knew I remembered his name from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So energy guy. You got to feel good about that
High
probably.
energy guy.
High energy guy. Another former Athletics guy we brought in on a camp invite. Seth Brown, not looking too hot right now. Have a funny feeling that's not going to really work out for him making this team. Only
Mm.
batting 143 at this juncture. Striking out more than homering. Got one home run in there, but I don't know if we really need a lot of lefty, boomer bust bats even as a backup first baseman right now. And then I guess the last one I'll last two I'll throw in just because they're interesting. Max Jazz is having a good spring. All these guys are doing pretty well that you'd expect to do well. But under the radar guys, Roderick Arias, right? I talked about him in a recent podcast. He's a former top international signing, shortstop prospect for the Yankees. He's hitting 400 right now with a home run. Only 5 at-bats, but nice piece, especially when you got to give more competition to, Volpe, keep the seat hot. Caballero is good, but nice to have a top prospect maybe putting the pressure on a little bit there.
I like that.
And he's got a good glove, so you like to see that. And the final one, I mean, oh God, I can keep going, but I'm going to try to keep it to these two.
No,
George
it's
Lombard
okay.
Jr. George Lombard Jr. is killing it defensively at third base. Still trying to make up for the bat right now. 333, average in spring. Not a lot of pop yet, but again, six at bats, two hits. Not much in the sample size department there, but you can kind of see why the Yankees didn't go anywhere for third base right now. The kid profiles as the guy of the future. Like he can pick it there. He plays, barehanded ground ball, bunt, whatever, throwing just looks so athletically gifted. And if he can turn that bat stuff that to what we've seen in the minor leagues and translate that to the major league level, you can see that's kind of their future. And then the last thing, just as far as catching, because that's kind of in an interesting place, as I've said, JC Escarra is having a solid spring, but Peyton Henry is a guy that we picked up. 28 years old. He's hitting 429 so far in spring. Two RBIs, like nothing crazy, but again, we need more catching depth. And I'm just curious who's going to be that guy to challenge Escarra. We brought in Ali Sanchez, obviously of Austin Wells, but this dude seems to give me, I don't know, just a vibe of probably I don't know, just veteran catching presence at the minor league level who maybe can do something with the stick. JC, I like him. I just feel like maybe the story of him being an Uber driver took over a little more of what maybe he offers to the team.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm being a little hard on him. I'm just curious to see how that kind of backup catching battle shakes out because Ben Rice can't be your, depth catcher anymore if you're going to send him over to first. But these are guys that are having interesting springs, doing pretty well out there, and otherwise, everybody else is doing what you'd kind of expect them to do in the early goings. But again, Paul Goldschmidt hitting 500 with a couple home runs and 7 RBIs already is a pretty interesting stat in its own right.
And no, I was gonna say I like that rundown. Sorry, I was listening to you completely. I was also just looking over here at some of your numbers alongside some of the Mets pitching numbers. But I think regardless, before we get into pitching, that's the beauty of spring again, is realizing the depth that you have maybe you didn't realize going into it, and realizing
Absolutely.
the battles that might be there that weren't there to start the spring and weren't even being
Hmm.
discussed as battles, and now you're seeing it firsthand as well. And like some guys again might also ease your mind versus going into spring not thinking they would, like a Goldschmidt, right?
Totally.
And for me, maybe like a I don't know, a lot of guys. Let's put it that way. um, I think just honestly the depth overall for me, but
Yeah, or just get again reigniting excitement. Like this guy's not done. Like you know what I mean? Or it didn't
that's
feel like a
huge.
lot of sexy moves. It's like no, like rely on history to say that these guys will give you something. And maybe it's just a good genetic makeup of a team that's what you need to have the right formula and chemistry to make it get to that next step. And
Also, you get to see the flow and how these guys play together already.
yeah,
And I think spring, as we know, like we're getting excited, right? 6 games in,
hmm
excuse me, like we might be 15 games in and realize what we just said today means nothing, or at least half of it means nothing, as these guys fell off, or they're not, or they're injured, or knock on wood, or they're not even turning out to be what we think they're going to be, or they're not actually fighting for a spot anymore because they completely fell off, right? And then
yeah,
also they have an amazing spring, and then they have an awful start to the regular season, and things change regardless. That's how fast we know things happen in baseball. But
depth, depth,
the
depth.
yes, depth. That's why the depth is good. But I'm realizing the key to everything in spring is seeing how just guys gel and seeing morale and seeing
Hmm.
just how laxed people are teams and people are because I've seen in years past you should be completely laxed in spring. You're playing baseball in the warmest weather down in beautiful Florida or somewhere on the West Coast, right, or
You're
Arizona, where
thawing from
yeah,
the winter. You're in the sun, happy, playing like a kid again.
yeah, when the games don't matter and like well, obviously it matters for a
Points
lot of
don't
guys
count.
trying to yeah, exactly. I mean, guys trying to break the team, it's different, like new guys prospects. But at the end of the day, it's fun. It's learning opportunity for a lot of guys. It's reps for a lot of obviously the veteran guys. It's just a time to relax for a lot of the veteran guys who maybe don't even need those reps. I mean, everyone needs the reps, but you know what I mean? Not as many reps. So for me, it's been honestly seeing how the players have gelled and seeing how laxed. And this is might be placebo or it might just be my own positive spin on it, but I genuinely see it and feel it that Juan Soto is carrying himself so differently now in year two. And I think it's true. You're not new. There's not all the talks behind him about the move from, the Yankees to the Mets. It's a thing of the past. People are kind of forgetting he's a Met and he's a superstar. Like everyone's talking about Bichette and Simeon and this new roster and the starting rotation and Nolan McLean and Freddie Peralta. And Juan Soto's vibing. He's having a good time right there. He braided his hair. He's chilling. He's telling us his favorite coffee orders. He just seems like a regular dude again, and he seems like a kid again because he still is. And I'm kind of like, he's about to fuck. That's
And that,
like,
but that's exactly what he needed, right? Like we
yes,
talked about Judge, and I remember, not to say, oh, I told you so, but it just takes that because when he came to the Yankees, he had Judge to sort of be like, all right, pressure off, cool. I don't need to think about this. The second he went to the Mets, it was always going to be right back on him. And then, like anything, you've been the new guy. You're the new guy now at your, position. It takes a couple months just to feel that groove of like, oh no, I belong here. And then the second you get a couple other new people that you're welcoming in, you're like, this is my team now. Like I'm good. You're the
yeah.
one who's uncomfortable and weird. That's fine. I'll help you get over it.
100. That's a great comparison. It's true, and like I'm seeing it. And obviously, also the pressure is off him a little bit because you have brought in depth of. I mean, yeah, you had Pete Alonso, you had big names, you had Nimmo, but now it's like more renowned and well-known superstars. Like Bo Bichette, everyone knows Bo Bichette. Everyone knows Marcus Simeon. Everyone knows Luis Robert. Even out there in Chicago, everyone knows Luis Robert, right?
True.
And the depth on this team now, obviously, you have Lindor, and the pitching is taking kind of a front and center as well because of now the depth you have in the rotation with the Tongs and the McLeans of the world who are showing out and look good and promising to lengthen that rotation. It's just like the pressure's off of this guy, and that's the piece I want to touch on. Is like I don't care what he does in spring. It's Juan Soto. I really don't care
Yep.
what he does as long as he stays healthy. Like
For sure.
he could be 0 for 20 for all I care. Well, I don't want to see that, but he's not. Here he has a few hits, but
Just don't
um,
celebrate and jump up in the air after your team wins a World Baseball Classic game?
no, exactly. So I wanted to note that because I think that's going to be huge. It's completely underrated and not talked about enough. Is how this guy is just himself again, And he had, mind you, he had an awesome year last year after that slow start. So imagine, like we've talked about, a full season of that. That is the MVP. That is outpacing Shohei Ohtani. Like if like all the shit he's talking about, like
Yep.
he's not bullshitting. He's not talking out of his ass. Like I'm sorry to say this, Jazz is a great player, but don't say you're a 50-50 player. Juan Soto will, he'll never be, he's not fast to have 50 steals, but
I don't.
50 and 150, you never know.
I hate to like,
That's crazy
poo-poo
though.
your idea though. And I agree. I genuinely do agree that I don't think Jazz is 50-50. I think it's also problematic if you're trying to be 50-50. Like just truly, I
Don't
think
say
you're
that. Yeah. Like
right.
just go
You're
play
offering a
ball.
better, you have more to offer than 50-50. 50-50 is just a stupid number that people get excited about for nothing. And really, I looked at Otani doing it like, oh, you're just waxing your own ego right now. You're not doing this because it matters to the team. You're doing this because you can't pitch right now, and you want to prove you're the best athlete out there. Fine, good for you, dude. You did it. But Jazz, looking to that point, he missed like 40 games last year. He was 30-30. So I'm not being like, oh, he
40-40
can.
maybe, but
I'm
get
just
there
saying
first is what I'm saying.
he could, in theory, reach 50-50. It just feels like, what are you sacrificing to do that? That's all I'm gonna say.
No, I hear you and I get it. I guess just I didn't mean to put it back on. But my point is
No,
like
your point is right.
like Soto coming at him is like if
Yeah.
he played a full season like that, you never know. You don't know what could have happened. It's kind of crazy, but we're not, nonetheless, I digress. But I thought that was worth noting. I want to get into some pitching real quick, and then we can
Yeah.
wrap up here today because it's been. I think we've covered a lot. It's been great.
Hell
Someone
yeah.
I want to talk about before I get into just general pitching and just kind of run through some stats is a guy who's kind of on the radar for the Mets of being a potential future back end bullpen flamethrower. Ryan Lambert. Have you heard of him?
I have not.
He's kind of
You've
come out.
stumped me.
Yeah, he's come out of nowhere. I mean, he was single
Now it
A
sounds familiar. Okay.
2024. He only had 2 games. So really last year was his kind of coming out party. He ended up in Binghamton by the end of the year, and he had a 1.71 ERA in Binghamton for the
Oh, I did
Len.
read about this guy, the 30 raw eggs guy. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's exactly what
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
gonna say.
yeah.
All of a sudden, this guy was a misfit. He was having a bunch of issues and trouble, whatever it was. There's a whole story on him, but he started basically just eating 30 raw eggs a day. I don't think that's exactly the direct reason he started to throw 100 miles an hour. I'm sure workouts and hard
Well,
work was included.
yeah, he prioritized his health is what it was basically about.
Yeah, I don't
I
know how
think.
good it is to eat 30 raw eggs a day anyway, but probably not. That's a lot of cholesterol.
It's a lot of protein. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of protein, a lot of
A
cholesterol.
lot
But
of
I will
cholesterol.
say, dude, 50 innings, 81 strikeouts last season with a whip of a 1.1 and a 1.62 average ERA. I just will say that reminds me a lot of a guy that we used to know and like that I don't like anymore in Queens is Edwin Diaz numbers with the 50 and 30 strikeouts above your inning count. And
Hmm.
obviously it's double A ball, doesn't mean much yet. But he also in his 1 inning in spring flamethrower struck out 3 guys, no problem. Struck out the side. And like again, doesn't mean much, small sample size. It's just one of those things of why we love spring, right? That's the kind of guy you keep an eye on. That's the kind of guy that all of a sudden 3 years down the road, it's like, oh shit, I remember him. That's 30 raw
Hmm.
eggs guy. Now he's our closer. Like, you know?
Yep.
So we'll see
Totally.
what happens on that front.
Start
But
calling
that
him Rocky.
Yeah, and we also have another fun one. I just want to mention the fun ones. I'll just get into our actual stats. Who hasn't really pitched or done anything yet? But Jeffrey Yan, he's the one who celebrates like crazy on the mound.
Oh yeah, he's nuts. I
Yeah, I think
love
he's
that.
pitched one inning, walked and hit a guy. Nothing really going on. He's probably not
He
gonna make
does
the team.
like a full figure skating routine, the way he pirouettes in the air. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's kind of crazy.
insane.
It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. Not much to really talk about. Just obviously the guys you'd expect me to talk about. Freddie Peralta getting his first crack in a Mets uniform on the mound in spring. He pitched 3 innings of three strikeout ball, and the most beautiful part about that is the no walks. Right, we've known him to be an efficient guy um, throughout his career, and that's kind of what he showed in the small sample size possible. Right, 1 game, 3 innings,
Hmm.
but still what you want to see out of him. Still very promising. Obviously, the key for the Mets this season, not just the depth on the you know hitting side of the ball, but it's our depth pitching, not just starters, but also bullpen. And like obviously health is a concern, right, with the Sanga and Manayas of the world. So if you have that depth with Peralta, with Holmes, with Peterson, and then obviously the biggest X factor, in my opinion, is Nolan McLean, who looks like he's well on his way to still be a rookie of the year, maybe a Cy Young candidate. This guy, dude, I know it's premature of me to say that, but he have you watched him pitch? He's just nasty, bro. 4 innings, 6 strikeouts. Yeah, I mean
Wait, who is this again? I'm sorry.
Nolan McLean.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, he is nasty.
Like
Like
he's and
surprising
his
too.
demeanor, yeah, surprising,
Yeah.
and the demeanor, like he has that bulldog, like I'm not afraid of you, and that's what you need as a ace pitcher, right?
Right. Totally.
And 4 innings, again, 6 strikeouts, only 1 game so far this spring, but 1 hit allowed. He's mowing people down, and he looks great out there.
I feel like
Tobias,
he's already
yeah,
been sort of named your ace in many ways. Like I feel like as far as the Mets sort of
yeah,
diaspora goes, like I know it's Freddie Peralta, but like every time I see the Mets and they're like, oh, the team and the roster, any image always kind of comes back to Nolan McLean, which is interesting because I felt like he was the least touted when he came up last year. Like Tong was talked about more. Sproat was talked about a ton. I felt like McLean was kind of talked about, and then he just like came up and lit the world on fire.
dude, 100%. That's the beauty of it because he just has come out of nowhere and he works his ass off, and just again, like the way he approaches his starts and like his demeanor and just his confidence and his swagger, like you could just feel it, right?
Little
And like
David
that's when you
Cohn
know.
like. He reminds me of David Cohn. I think that's what's
Ooh, I like that
yeah.
comp. And did you hear though, like Peralta was named the opening day starter, which I think is fair. People are arguing like it should be McLean. He is the
No,
homegrown
don't do that
Met.
to a kid. No, 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 no.
One, yeah, you don't do it to him. Two, you sign Peralta to be your ace. Let your ace go. Like let McLean go Saturday. Also, I'm gonna have tickets to that game, so I'm juiced.
And if you want Peralta long term, you give him the ego stroke of you're the opening day starter.
Yeah, and there's no reason for him not to be. I mean, he still led the NL in wins last year. He had arguably one of the best career seasons of his career. Like, yes, McLean had a great, second half when he was called up, and he already looks great again in spring. But he's not your opening day starter yet. Like, we were doing that with Tyler McGill for so long. Like, put out the ace, the proven ace who's proved it on the MLB level for years and years, and that's Freddie Peralta right now. So I'm cool with it. I have no arguments. And then again, I get to see McLean Saturday, so selfishly, I'm excited about that. Ideally.
Yeah, and get people jazzed, man. You want to see your shiny new toy? Like that's what you do. That's what opening day is about.
Yeah,
It's
dude, it's
not.
fucking Peralta versus Paul Skeens. Like, come on.
Oh my God, yeah, that's insane. Don't do that.
And I'm not
Um,
going because opening day is a ripoff, unfortunately, in terms of price.
and you know
Um,
what? You kind of want to watch the fanfare on TV sometimes. I got
it's
to
also
be
Thursday
honest.
afternoon. Then they're all.
Yeah.
I hate how it's Thursday and they're all of a sudden off Friday, and then they play Saturday, Sunday. That's silly to
Well,
me.
because the built-in rain game, whatever. I don't.
True. Yes. 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 I
Yeah,
forgot. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Which I'll
yeah,
sacrifice having a dome for the built-in day. Like I don't need a dome. I want the built-in rain day. Get domes out of here. Stop with the ooh, you'll never have rain day. Like, get over it. Get
it
over
just
it.
sucks though because you know how it is when baseball starts and you get that taste of the first game on opening day. Being off the next day sucks.
Yeah, yeah. It's anticlimactic. But there's other teams usually that play, so it's like, oh, let me check in
Oh,
on
that's
that.
true.
You
And then if
know?
you have tickets to game two, which ideally, again, I keep saying, but that's always my strategy is I go to game two because it's way more
Yeah.
affordable than opening
It's
day and makes a
30
lot more
bucks.
sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so much better. And I'm gonna see possibly the Mets' future ace, maybe the next DeGrom, knock on wood, but he looks fucking
Uh,
good, man. Um, and
guy you
yeah,
can dream on.
not much else I got to touch on. I mean, the bullpen work, you've seen some guys come in and out. Lambert, I want to touch on just because, he's maybe a future guy, but current guys, Brazoban, they're all getting their work in. They all look fine. No one really to say is like flopping or got enough innings to say they're flopping. Devin Williams had his first appearance yesterday, of course, gave up a home run. Had working on some new pitches. Like, I'm not gonna freak out yet. Like, come on, that's crazy to do. A guy that's fun to look at.
It could not help but laugh at that, though. It
I
was
know.
just too
I knew
funny.
I had to let you get your laugh in, of course. But
Thank you. Thank you.
Tobias Myers is actually starting today. He's had 4 innings of 5 strikeout ball, no earned runs yet. He actually just gave up a run right now. No big deal. He still looks great, and that's our long man slash start man slash just bulk inning guy similar to Brazabon. So that's good to have in your bullpen. No, and then the last two I want to touch on that are guys that maybe have a chance of making the bullpen. Carl Edwards, as we know, was a staple in the Chicago Cubs
Hey.
bullpen. I like him. I like how he throws. I like how he pitches. 2 innings, 2 strikeouts,
Yeah,
no earned runs just yet. Give him some more reps because there is a spot open again with your injuries to Daniel Nunez and Reed Garrett for the season. You're a little thin. AJ Minter, I don't know if he's going to be ready for opening day. Obviously, people are optimistic that he is, and everyone forgets that we have him, and I can't wait for Minter to be back out there. Um, but you don't know how he's going to come back either, so it's good to have that depth, right?
hmm
And last guy I want to mention here, which is just kind of the fun journeyman story of a guy that you always have this time of year, Robert Stock. You remember Robert Stock?
Yeah.
He was a Red Sox last year. Ended up getting sent down to AAA.
Between Robert Stock and Carl Edwards Jr., man, you are just finding all kinds of interesting scraps. I love it.
Right? 3 innings, 6 strikeouts, Ed. No, 1 hit, no walks, no earned runs. I mean, that's something that you got to be like, okay, let's see, let's give him some more innings. Like, let's see what
Yeah,
he could do. I mean, that's I know it's small, but 3 innings, 6 Ks, 2 Ks
that's
per
not
inning.
nothing. Yeah, for sure.
So
All right.
I'm happy where we're at. I just how could I not be? Just there's a lot of fun things to look out for right now.
It's nice, and especially because what I've seen so far too is that the injury bug has not really hit either camp so far. So knock on wood, you got
Very
little bits
early,
here,
but
but
yeah,
usually you got a lot more at this juncture that you gotta, compete with. So
you're right.
hopefully
Yeah, I
it
was gonna
stays
sorry.
this way.
Last thing I was gonna say, a lot of the injuries really is just coming down to um guys who are just recovering from previous injuries. It's not like new.
For
So
sure. I like
what
the
do you
rundown.
what do you
Good
got?
calls. Well, it's funny. I wasn't excited to talk pitching at first, and I don't know why. Now I'm like, wait, hitting could have just taken a back seat because really the story of our spring training has been pitching. First, to lead it off is Elmer Rodriguez. He's one of our top prospects who we actually got in a trade with the Red Sox for Carlos Narvaez, who last year I opined about how did we give up Carlos Narvaez? He's their starting catcher. He's so good. We need a good, backup or competitor with Austin Wells back there. And Narvaez is the guy. We gave up on him too quickly. Elmer Rodriguez looks like a good reason to give up on a good catching prospect.
Yes.
He's had 6 innings. He struck out five in those 6 innings, 3 ERA, so giving up 2 earned runs in that time. But again, just looks like he's got sharp stuff. Looks like there's a mix of pitches that are really all quite advanced. And looks like he could be making, inroads toward Yankee Stadium much sooner than people would have expected. So again, he's a starter that you're expecting to come up at some point. Carlos Lagrange, which is the appropriate name or way to say it. It's not
Okay.
Lagrange, it's Lagrange. He has been insane. Looking at just what he throws, right? Again, talked about him looking like Dylan Betances. There's just something about that size on the mound, the way that arm's coming over, over the overhand. 1.59 ERA so far in 5 2/3
Mm.
innings
He
with a
looks
pull,
real, man. He's real.
right? 6 strikeouts, 9.5 Ks per nine, which I think are going to skyrocket at some point. Um, we're seeing, oh, sorry, my data is all mixed up here. Luis Heels had a nice start to it, but the big one, as far as Yankee moves over the offseason, right? We talked about how few there were, but we can say the biggest trade they made was for Ryan Weathers.
Mm.
And Ryan Weathers is looking absolutely
He's
disgusting.
under. He's always been underrated, in my opinion.
Well, it's always been injury, right?
Yeah.
And again, we're saying we're healthy right now, and maybe it is again blossoming into your mature years. Maybe you worked out those kinks. Um, and again, hopefully they're not just like emptying the tank at risk of hurting him further. It seems like it's controlled. It doesn't seem like it's all over the place, right? Head is in line with the plate. It's all working downhill. He does look like his mechanics are quite effective. 3 2/3 innings with a 12.3 Ks per nine, so 5 strikeouts in that time. No
Not bad.
ERA, 0.27 whip, so microscopic, just one hit in that time. And again, very small sample sizes. But if you're going to get excited and you can dream, that's your fifth starter slash swingman, your
He's
power.
your Tobias Myers.
Tobias Myers,
Yeah.
exactly.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take that out from you.
No, thank you. Please. It just shows that we're thinking alike.
Hell yeah.
And again, the more different we are, the more we mirror each other, it seems. So, um, Beyond that, Ben Hess is an interesting name. He was a top pick for us not too long ago. He's got 15 strikeouts per nine right now. Again, 3 innings pitched, but you can see where the Yankees are building a bullpen that will strike players out. As much as we like the contact, they are going to strike a ton of dudes out. Jake Bird, who we acquired last year from the Rockies,
Love Jake Bird.
he was awful for us. Shaved his beard, poor guy. When he came over, just didn't look like the same dude. Right now, got 11.6 strikeouts per nine. So he's looked really good in a short sample, 2.1 innings pitched, right? So two and a third, I should say. As for anybody else, it's Brock Selvage is a guy to keep a name, eyes on. Again, looking forward. 18 strikeouts per nine. And again, such small sample sizes, but it's just you're seeing these names come up that we're like, what are the Yankees going to do in the bullpen? This gives you a lot more hope, knowing that they got swing and miss potential. They got a lot of, again, faceless names for the time being. Brent Hedrick is another guy that
Hmm.
the Yankees probably expect to break camp with them. Um, and has some experience at the major league level. Fernando Cruz is Fernando Cruzing. He'll be who he is, and we all know that. So again, I'm not overly like giddy about anything. I think maybe the one I'm most giddy about is Ryan Weathers seeing that 100-mile-per-hour fastball, the fastest pitch he's thrown in his life,
Hmm.
in his first start with the Yankees. So again, former number 8 overall pick by the Padres. Dad was a Yankee, won a World Series with us, has the pedigree. Um, I just think I think Yankee fans and baseball fans in general are going to be surprised just how good this pitching staff could look.
Yeah, man. I think it's underrated. I think there's a lot of talent there that people maybe overlook. Ryan Weathers, Jake Bird to be exact. And obviously, people forget the bullpen ads you made towards the back end of last year anyway, with at the deadline, right? With
Doval and Bednar.
yeah, yeah, thank you.
Hmm.
I forgot Bednar's name for a second, but Bednar and Duvall, big names, big opportunity. Like obviously, the back end of the bullpen is the key, and
Yep.
we took your back end, and that's our back end. So hopefully that works for us. But for you guys, there's still a lot of depth there and opportunity there. And I think again, that's the beauty of spring, right? Is finding these guys like Legrand, who I think is going to easily, not easily, let's see how he does the rest of the way, at least the next few weeks, I would say. I think he could solidify himself within that bullpen the next few weeks, 100%. A lot of these guys can. Like,
And it
even
gives you
like,
the idea that they could even be grooming him for the closer's role when a Bednar or Doval signs elsewhere, right? Like, so
you
it's
never
that time.
know,
Yeah.
right? And like,
Yeah.
same with like, well, Lambert is way too early for that kind of guy. But yeah, but that's, I guess,
One can dream.
on a more of a stretch comp. It's still similar in the sense of like, that's what a lot of it's about, right? Is you have these guys for a year or 2 years, and sure they're closers now, but it's also like spring. That's what it's for. It's like kind of like looking ahead in a way, where you're looking at guys to see how they're going to be. Maybe not this year, maybe down the road, right? Like maybe AJ Ewing. Like we were trying to guess his age. I didn't realize how young that guy is. Maybe
Right.
he's not going to be your corner outfielder just yet, but maybe he is in 3 years.
True.
You know,
Yeah. And anything can happen anytime. That's why it's sort of like, you look at a lot of veteran players and you get excited when you get a big name or a free agent signing. But the reality is, every year we're shocked by who comes up and takes the league by storm, right? You got to
100%.
rely on young talent still because that is a separator. And even if it's not a name that you know or a quantity that you know, or it's still something that you can rely upon to separate yourself from the rest of the pack. If you got good depth, people who you don't expect to come out of there and just, again, perform lights out, who knows? It's an X factor that we should all get excited about and pay more attention to.
100%, dude. And I think it's going to be really fun to watch over the next few weeks. I think it's something we're going to keep a close eye on. We're going to keep talking ABS, keep talking potential. We're going to talk some WBC, I would say, in our next episode as we're building
Yep.
up and leading up to that. Also, I did take a look while we were chatting. We have 7 Dominican players on the Mets, and just Soto, which I scares the shit out of me, and Brazoban are playing in the
Okay.
WBC.
Okay. It's all
Um,
right.
I was, I forgot Luis Robert is Cuban.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Hmm.
So I was
Is he
mixing.
playing for Cuba?
So let's see. That's a good question.
Because Cuba, I just feel like is falling off, but it would be nice to see them compete. You
I
know.
don't want to see it selfishly again. And like Soto playing scares the shit out of me, to be honest with you.
Well, dude, Aaron Judge going for the USA. I'm just sort of like, I love it, but I'm also like, dude, now you go, you're on the wrong side of 33, right? You're 34 this year. You're gonna
He-
carry this team. Like if anything happens to you, running into a wall, God forbid.
I mean,
Like
yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. Luis Robert will
yeah.
not be playing. He played in
Okay.
2023. It says,
Yeah, I would have been surprised if he did. I don't know why. I just kind of got the feeling that he needs to be with his new team and, you know, get that time with the new team, if that makes sense. I feel like
that
going away might not be the best thing.
I think it's a mix of that, and also I forgot he had. little bit of an injury towards the back end of last year.
Oh,
It was a
okay.
hamstring injury, so I think he's probably just trying to be conservative and get ready, obviously, which I respect
More likely, yeah.
and appreciate. So, a lot of good things to come as we get closer. Baseball really feels real because we have a beautiful day out today. WBC coming. I got my first men's league practice tomorrow. Um,
You know
Bad
who?
news on that front. We actually already lost our best pitcher because he got a new job. And
Oh,
yeah, our best
bummer.
pitcher, our ace pitcher, started in the finals for us, helped win the finals, and we got promoted. So we're in a harder division, losing our ace. That's we're now the underdogs again, which I love that shit though. You know that. I love a
Sounds
little
like
underdog.
Sleeveless Al's gonna have to make some more mound appearances.
Oh, if I could get the yips away, I've definitely gotten in better shape, my friend. But the yips don't go away. It's a mental game, so we'll see. I think I've gotten better mentally as well. So time will tell.
There you go. You know,
Try it
just throw it
out.
out there, fuck it, and see how it goes.
See, I'm just gonna close my eyes at this point. Doesn't even matter. Couldn't throw strikes with them open, so.
It might be effective. Give it a shot. Why not?
But we'll see. I'll keep everyone posted on that front because it is fun, and I actually Ed might buy and splurge eventually on the new Oakley Meta glasses, where you could literally play in a game
That would
and
be
just have a
wild.
POV, and that would be some hilarious content.
That would be great. Well, hey, you have fun chucking up any of those clips anytime you want. I am not going to make an ass of myself while playing, but I
Well,
will be happy to watch you.
I will say it's a little bit of an investment because, like, you could break those glasses, and they're not the cheap Dick's $30 glasses; they're $500. So I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, hey, see how the things go here, and whatever. It's a sacrifice worth making. If
Yeah,
anything, you could challenge yourself to improve in ways that you might not have seen on other video.
you're right. You never know.
Yeah.
I like the perspective, I like the positive twist. It's a beautiful Saturday. We have to be positive. We got to be optimistic. What's going on in the world is out of our control. All we can do is control what we can. So take care of yourself. Take care of
Each other.
each other and just go watch some baseball, have a hot dog, have a beer, call it a day. I mean, with that, Ed, that is a
That's
wrap
it.
for episode 26 of the BAB. I know I was saying this is episode 2 of 2026. It's going to be very annoying to do that and keep track of that. So this is just episode 26 of the podcast. So until next time, you hear from us. We will be back. Baseball is getting closer and closer. It is back. It's here. Obviously, games that matter aren't here yet. But we're going to enjoy this. We're enjoying the prospects, enjoying the fun, enjoying Juan Soto's coffee order. So remember to listen, rate, subscribe, review, send us an email. We appreciate all of you. And Ed, I can't wait for opening day. Again, starting to smell like spring out there. So with that, man, sign us off.
You just said too many good things. All I can say is I don't give a damn what Juan Soto's drinking as long as it's weighing him down and he can't steal 38 more bases. I'm in good shape. No, like you said it best, man. Baseball's here. It's our season. World Baseball Classics around the corner. I smell the hot dogs. I smell the sweat.
Hmm.
We said it again. Yeah, let's get after it. Have a good season. New York baseball's back, baby.
Ketchup, mustard, extra sweaty, baby.
Hell yeah.
This ball is crushed. Man, what a shot for